I wanted to talk to you guys about a little Black history. Now, bear with me. I did a little bit of research after receiving a little DM from a former friend of mine, and it was about a slave named Henry Box Brown, who pretty much used magic to escape slavery, and I think that is possibly the best escape ever. Like, we've had some pretty amazing escapes in our day, but like, dude escaped slavery. Henry Box Brown, also known as Professor Professor H. Box Brown, and also known as African Prince. That all pans out. You can look that up on Webster. No, I'm joking, I'm joking. I'll also include all the links to where I've gotten this information in the description below. And if anybody wants to fact check me, they can. Or if you want to add additional information, drop it in the comments below. Henry was born as a slave on a plantation in Richmond, Virginia. That was in the year 1815. At the age of 15, his life completely changed due to the passing of his plantation owner, also known as a slave master. The slave master's property was then divided amongst the 4 sons. He was taken to the oldest son's plantation, of where he grew up the rest of his life in Richmond, and he worked at a tobacco shop, of which he had a job. I tell you that bit of information because he had a job of which he was actually getting paid to do, which is something that, you know, not a lot of slaves, a majority of slaves, they weren't able to have that luxury. And this was due to the fact that his past plantation owner gave the son strict instructions to, you know, take care of Henry. He was very fond of Henry, so he's like, yo, take care of him. With that being said, he was receiving money every time that he got paid. He had enough money to buy himself clothing, as well as he had enough money to buy himself food, and he had enough money to send back to his mama on the regular. Later on in life, he found a love interest, a person who he was very fond of, so fond of, he went out of his way to ask her slave master, you know, if he could marry her. And he proceeded to ask his current slave master if he could marry her. And they both said, that's cool, man. We like the fact that you guys are together. Or they were plotting, and they might have thought, you know, good, they're breeding. They happily raised children until Henry came home one day and saw that his family was gone. Nowhere to be found. All it took was him looking at his slave master. He asked him, why didn't you do anything? Why? Why didn't you, like, why would you sell them? They were my family. I asked you not to. I asked you to protect them. Like, why? But he said he didn't want to mess with the person, the buyer, the customer's business. As if he was scared or as if he didn't care. I wasn't really sure about the context that it read, but either way it goes, it's really stupid and messed up. This man lost 2 families like that. He was born into one, was taken away from them, and he had a chance to start his own, and that was stripped from him. A couple months later, 5-ish, he started sharing his thoughts of freedom with the storekeeper he was working with, and they actually started brainstorming some ideas on how they could possibly achieve this freedom. My boy had it. Yo, this ain't for me. This is not for me. I ain't asked for this. I just want to be happy. I just want to live my life. I ain't asked for this. So what can we do? You know what? I got a few ideas, my dude. Now, they brainstormed a couple things, but none of them seemed quite right. At some point, he had an epiphany. You guys can read more about that in the links that I provided below. It's very, 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 very informational. But I'm hoping that the way that I'm telling you guys this will intrigue you to actually go on to read more, because, you know, it's history, it's black history, it's magic black history at that. Like, it's 3 cool things. Did I say that right? 3 cool things? Okay, cool. For some reason, that didn't sound right in my head. It's 3 cool things all in one. So, educate yourself. Basically, his idea was he was going to mail himself off as dry goods. They're intercepting and sending out dry goods every day. It's a job. He's just looking at this box. I can picture it. Could you picture it? Like this video if you can picture him just looking at the boxes as, you know, people are putting oranges in them. That's it. That's... Yo. We've been looking at this for how many years now? We've been doing this same job for how many years? Dog. Why? That. So, the storekeeper, as any good friend would do, called up his boy in Philly and was like, yo, I need you to retrieve a package for me. Can you do that? So this storekeeper has just set up a deal to deliver a person, a slave, all the way up to Philadelphia from Richmond, Virginia. Boat, wagon, train. On the morning of March 29th, 1849, Henry was shipped via steamboat with a bladder full enough to quench his thirst and to wipe his face, and a small wooden box filled with 3 holes. He had traveled by wagon and by train. During the transfer between trains, his box was loaded upside down, putting him in a ton of pain near death. It took a crew member flipping the box for him to survive. Upon reaching Washington, he was transferred in a wagon and arrived at a train depot. The box was tossed around, tossed aside with the luggage, and transferred onto another wagon heading to Philadelphia. 27 hours and 350 miles that he's just in this box like. Now, it has been a long journey, but Henry finally arrives after 350 miles in Philly and was picked up by 7 p.m. by the storekeeper's friend who had received a telegraph. The box was then brought back to the friend's house and opened. He was too weak at the time, but he arose a free man. He moved to Massachusetts and New York. He spoke out on anti-slavery throughout Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania. Basically, he used the ordinary to do the extraordinary, and he used magic to escape slavery, which, in my opinion, is the greatest escape. Like, we don't read about that type of thing. We don't normally hear about that type of thing, especially not in schools. So here, I figure I'll educate you a little bit. Maybe I'll do a little bit of history here and there on some magic, because in all honesty, I enjoyed reading some history on magic. It was really cool. Just learning where certain things come from, who did what. I read all the way back to 2700 BC. Yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. If you didn't, it's okay. I guess you can give me a dislike. I don't want it. I don't want it. You can keep it. Keep all negative comments to yourself. But I'll accept all the positives, please. Please. So go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the notification. I'm asking you guys to do so much. Jeez, I feel bad. Comment if you have any suggestions, if you want to see more from me, and hopefully you guys will see me in about a week, maybe sooner.